Howdys and salutations, y'all. Welcome back to another stream. We are continuing where we left off yesterday with some of these AI-generated Pokemon evolutions. Let's see, I do believe, yes, excellent. It looks like you should be able to see our reference image here. This was generated by Dream. It's by a group called Wombo.art. No idea if they're good or not sponsored, not any idea. But they've got a little app called Dream that's another one of them AI generators. Was popular a tad before the big one that's Dolly and all that. Although it may pull off Dolly, I don't really know how it works. I'll be honest. I ought to look into that more. It's actually really interesting, some of the stuff they've done. But regardless, that's where we got this image. I can probably make it fit on stream a tad better. Yeah, there we go. That's perhaps a little less distracting. Also, you may notice we've got our bottom buffer a little lower on our stream overlay, which this should probably be behind, truthfully. Let's fix that. There we go. What's this? Oh, nope, that is the overlay. Genius. But yes, so we've got a little more space to work with now, and we can at least sort of see the icons along the bottom down here. Not perfectly, but it's better. You can at least see the hover text. We've got our raster layers, we've got our vector layers, folders and such, merging, and then I haven't messed with masks yet. I know they're very powerful. Like I tend to do clipping layers, and I know there's some differences in how they work and how what they're good for, but there's also some overlap. So we will have to look into those another time. Also, we got this button here, which is show layer in 2 panes. Oh, okay. So if we wanted to, if you had a really long list of layers and you needed to scroll the different sections of it at the same time, like say you had a line work area and a like flat colors area and you need to be swapping between them or some such, who knows the exact uses. I'm sure there's a million use cases. Or at least like, 5. But yeah, so you can sort of split this into 2 sections. Unfortunately, I was kind of hoping that would reveal the buttons at the top, like at the bottom of this one, but it does not, so still no view on that. Let's just close that up then. Okay. So then, we can actually, we could buy ourselves a little space by maybe scooting this down since we don't have a ton in the way of layers. And let's just, there we go. We scoot this over here into the upper section. We've got our reference, and we're also not blocking anything terribly important. Thereabouts, mayhaps. There we go. And you've got the source listed there too. Perfect. Okay. So, we're gonna try to jump right back into this without too much delay. I know that's out of character. Whoops, that was the wrong button entirely. As was that. So again, the hang of PureRef. This little program, by the way, the sort of pop up in the corner here, that is from an app called PureRef, which is technically free, although you can also donate for it. It's sort of like Bandcamp with free songs where you can also give. Found it recommended a few places, and it's been, I wasn't so sure on it for my personal workflow because I just opened something on a new screen, but being able to stream and actually show you all the reference images I'm looking at is fantastic. I don't know if anyone remembers during Art Fight, we had to open a new browser window and like move all sorts of stuff around, and it was real complicated and not great. Not so this time. So, let me adjust the stuff on my view as well so I can actually see what the heck I'm doing. And yeah, we'll jump right back into this. Where we left off, we had just wrapped up the line work, although fresh eyes means that I want to tweak it some more. But we were going to get into colors a little bit, and then honestly, maybe we do colors and then we do some line work cleaning at the end. That way we can at least get some the color positions in right, because we're trying to get this in more of an original Pokemon style. Like the generator's kind of esoteric. It's not clear what's an arm, what's like a tire, and all that. And this one I've stuck with the line work pretty much like identically to it. And I think that maybe it's worth expanding on that a little bit, seeing if we can't make it now that we've got our basis, we can tweak it more. But also, I just kind of want to let's see if we can get the colors on this looking decent first. Of course, if you think that this is the only one I'm doing, you'd be sorely mistaken, because I've got a whole bunch of these Pokemon generated, so I'm good to go through the end of the week at least. Although at this rate we could go through the end of the year, but I don't think we'll want to be doing that. There's a few other awesome things we can do, a few other opportunities. Whoops, let's actually zoom this in a little more. And I really don't have much in the way of layers on this, do I? Let's see, that's the line work. That's the rougher line work. That's our color palette. Guess we need a new layer. Ah, no, not that. Let's throw a raster layer on here because we're doing some colors with it. Should be fun. And let's see, I think, yeah, okay, so we can just do the basic fill, although if we look real closely at that, it kind of leaves a little edge around it. So I actually want to adjust the fill bucket settings a little bit. If I can find them, it might be in the more complex settings. I know a setting exists. Yeah, here it is, fill up to the vector path. So I know we've talked a little bit, oh. Yes, I'd like to include it as well, okay. Perfect, that actually solves another problem I'd encountered in the past. So what this does is we've talked a little bit about vectors in the past. These are vector lines. So they're not just like a set of pixels where you told the computer to say this is on, this is off, this one's on, this one's off, and so on. The computer actually knows this is a line. And so you can, I think even if I, yeah, like it knows that this is a line, it's got a whole bunch of points that it knows are connected, and it's sort of generating the actual pixels it's showing based on this line. And so the fill tool is just going up to like the outer edge of it right now. And we've got all those like fuzzy colors. But if I like filled two areas next to each other, like you can already see, like it's leaving, oh yeah. Like from this last one, it left a gap for the outline of where the vector, actually this one, it didn't cover the vector line at all. So it totally left it alone. But now with this setting, we're saying, no, you fill all the way underneath there, all the way to the super thin line that we can see when we select it. So like if I pick this one, it's filling all the way up to the little red line in there and not just the whole black line. And actually when we check fill or include vector path, it'll fill under the red line too, which is what we want, although not with these colors. But that way, that's actually helpful for lineless stuff too in the future, for getting some just rough stuff in. If we've got line work, we can just fill in the patches like that real quick. But like right now, we're just doing some real quick stuff, and then we'll do some, shading and whatnot. Obviously, this quick fill isn't going to do everything for us. We've still got ways to go on it. Oh. Okay, color pick settings. I must have changed something. Current layer, all layers? Top layer? Oh, top layer, yeah, as in whatever's showing on the top, not literally the highest layer. Okay, cool. Yeah, top layer is what I want. There's times when we want the other one, but most of the time right now, we don't need it. So let's just get filling in with this, and then we'll build from there, knowing the Pokemon don't have a ton of colors and don't have a ton of shading variants. Okay, got kind of a lighter green for that one, lighter green for this top section, kind of for this section too. I mean, this is almost, it's like between the green and the yellow. I may do it yellow. I feel like that's the kind of pop that Pokemon would actually go for. Other light greens. Kind of is used as a shadow on the front of this, but I don't think that's really what we want. Okay. Again, I'm just sort of piecemealing stuff in right now. Dark green. Yes. My mind just had a lot more. Oh, right, here we go. This, not all of that, but part of it. Do the yellow then. Let's see if there's too much gold, because we're going to have to balance the colors a little bit too, probably. Got kind of this. We've got this one that we were saving for it. We have to go with a slightly lighter gold tone. We'll see. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, there we go. We've got kind of that filled in. I know that this is all kind of the golden color, although we'll see how far we get with some of that. Let's grab our beige. It's not used much, but where it's used, it's important. 1, 2, 3. An extent 4, although that might end up being the gold instead. And then our sort of wild shadow color because of the way this generated. Let's see. That's roughly right. Wow, against the gold, it's actually really bold. So the reason you might be wondering, like, oh, this is open, why isn't the fill tool going all the way? One of the settings we have on here is called close gap, and that's basically like how far of a gap can you accidentally leave where it'll still treat it as closed. And I've got it on a pretty high close gap, so it'll even take a pretty wide opening and be like, ah, that's closed. Which is really handy. I wish more programs had that option. Maybe too ominous on the eye, but I don't have another color that fits it super well right now, so we'll leave it. Okay. Obviously already this looks like a child's drawing of the AI generated one, which isn't what we're going for. Let's see how it, whoops, let's see how it's looking. Well, that's kind of neat in its own right, but not what we're going for either. So, part of the issue here is obviously, like, and if you're looking at actual Pokemon too, this is an issue with how we've done this one, is the line work is too wide and it's really not very good. Very jagged. So let's see what tweaks we can do, because this is some of the other perks of vector tools. Assuming I can re-find where the heck I put my vector lines. This one? Ooh. It does annoy me a little bit that the icons change. Here we go, correct line. Okay, so I want to narrow all of the lines again. Oops. And I can just do this across the whole thing and it'll do that. One of the perks of vector lines is it's just generating the pixels based on where the actual vector line is. So, I actually need to do that on the vector layer, don't I? This one. Let's zoom out a tad. Maybe we can get the whole thing on screen, yeah? Yeah, just barely. There we go. And you can see, like, it's identifying, like, it takes all the lines and it's just like, oh, okay, the line we're generating from this little vector conceptual line doesn't need to be so big. Of course, now they're really small and they don't cover the fill. I probably should have done this before we were doing the color fill. But there's also some like actual cleanup we ought to do too, and then maybe we'll do a recolor fill and do some proper tweaks. I don't want to spend too much more time on this one, because there's another thing I want to do a little bit. But it's not this vector tool, it's another one. So let's maybe simplify. See what that does to this. Okay, interesting. Kind of straightens them out a little bit. That's not really what we want. Oh, you can connect them? No. No, let's not do that. Done adjusting line width. You can redraw it. Let's just sort of tweak it a little bit, but not, well, that may be what we end up needing to do. One's in sort of the right place, but not quite. We can sort of tweak it. Hey, that's got its uses for sure. It's basically just another drawing pen, so in terms of wibbly wobbleness, it's not going to be better. Oh, and this we can adjust the width with just a section of it. Interesting. Remove dust. Still leftover. I don't know what those do. Select dust. Okay. Wonder what add subtool does. I guess we'd have to download one to get that to work. Okay. Oh. I think what we were looking for, I'll put this back the way it was. There we go. It was probably somewhere around between either simplify or redraw. You could try pinch, but that basically just lets us grab it, and it tends to get a little out of hand, I have found. Whereas, yeah, I think what we want is draw. Wonder if it's a control point issue. Nope, that has plenty of control points. That has, maybe the issue is that has way too many control points. Yeah, I'm just trying to smooth out my line work a little bit. One of the perks of digital that I'm enjoying. Oh, jeepers. Though not using well, particularly. Nope. So I assume Simplify removes control points. So control points determine where the curves are. Like, it's basically drawing the line between these points. None of these red lines are actually curved themselves. It's just straight lines between circles. If I move one, oh, I guess they are curved a little. But the point is that it follows the lines, and their curve is defined by these circles. And I assume Simplify reduces the number of those. Like, if I were to look at this now, yeah. Okay. But that's not really what we want. And sort of, whoop, not that one. You can sort of smooth lines out a little bit with this. The only true way to a smooth line is, of course, practice, which I'm working on, although not when I'm using a shortcut like this. Granted, I sort of like calculators if you really think about it. Like, I don't mind using a shortcut on it if it's a shortcut that I'm always going to have in any situation that I'm doing it. Like, because that's not a shortcut anymore, that's just a tool. Of course, there's some things where it's worth being able to do by hand because at some point, skill is faster and easier than the shortcuts. I'll leave that one there. Tweaks and cleanups. Like, I'm not sure this is helping with the wobbleness, though. Like, this still clearly has, like, wobble in it. Although not if I do. Oh, that's true. Quick lines. Just keep redrawing it until I get the one I'm looking for. Okay, that could work. I mean, let the drawing live a little on its own, though. Nope, not that one. Okay, maybe something like that. Ah, no. Now let's get the vector erase going in here, and we can clean up some straight lines now. One of the perks of vector erase. Okay, so then we're going back to... And this is, I'll admit, this is very much me just like learning some new tools. I've never used any of these before. I've used pinch vector line like for 10 minutes once, but that's hardly useful. 10 minutes of like muddling around with it. So we got like this, and then it sort of comes down, and then nope, not that one. Bring this one up, and then sort of down as well. Oh wait, this one's supposed to go all the way into it. There we go. That may have been part of the issue. Okay. This is handy. I'm starting to figure out how this one works. And maybe this is one of those things where the connect vector line tool would be handy. Because now, those are theoretically, yeah, one way too control pointed vector line. I wonder if simplifying this would make it better or worse. Better, actually, yeah. Got too many things going on with it. Okay, yeah. That's actually going to help with the warbly too once they're going roughly the direction they ought to. Not having a million different control points is going to be of some assistance. So like already that's looking better. Like compare this section, like it's not immediately obvious, but comparing that to like the way the head looks right now, like you can tell that it's cleaned up a significant bit. Let's try this. Let's see how this goes. Okay, not with that one maybe. Pretty happy with most of these except for just needing to do like a tiny bit of cleanup on some loose ends, which unfortunately are kind of not overlapped with anything, so maybe connecting vector lines would work here. I think this little one was just doomed from the start. I remember we had some issues with it for a while. Connecting these ones would also make sense. And we could simplify that curve. Let's see the extent of this. Okay, yeah, we can probably simplify that. Yeah. Gets the point. Actually cleans up the point a fair bit. Okay. Bring that down. Here's where the vector tools are starting to get really interesting. Okay, yeah. Then let's see what happens if we connect these. Does that over? No. I simplified this one. Nope. It looks good. Okay, I actually kind of like that better with its light. Okay. Oop, nope, not this one. Undo. There we go. Cool. Ah, okay. We connect these, that should get rid of some of those weird tails. And now when we kind of pinch and drag it, okay, we can get a little more curve. I'm actually at a control point there, so we can have a little more curve here. There we go. Clean up the loose end, clean up the loose end. And yeah, there was always going to need to be a little loose end cleanup in this one. It's got too many lines where I went over it a couple times. Connecting does actually help clean those up significantly. But I don't think I wanted to connect that last one, just these three. Okay. Now this is definitely getting into the territory of you can sort of just muddle about with your drawing forever and never have it finished. Like ever. And we don't want to get to that point. Because that point is all too easy to get to. As you can see, I'm getting lost in thought, just like messing with this a little bit. Okay. And I can spend all day trying to perfect and clean this up and make it look real nice, and then still have the design itself be kind of weird and wonky. So, okay, I'm going to connect this one. I'll finish up with the center section here, and then we'll look and have a bit of a go, making sure that everything else looks good, and then we'll maybe clean up the colors a little bit, say that this one's good, and then have another go, because I want to take a little less of a literal approach with the next one. This one, we basically followed what it's drawn pretty close to a T. Obviously, it's not exactly one-to-one, but there are parallels. What am I looking for here? Redraw vector line, that's the one. Okay. Actually, I think we do want to connect these. Cool. We can simplify. Oh, nope, don't simplify. Undo. This we can simplify a little. And, yeah. Pinch this one in a little bit. This point over. That out a hair. That out a hair. Oh, okay, that, simplified this one a little bit. It's got too much going on. But some of that much going on was important, so let's, okay, no, like this. Bring it in like that. Simplify. Pinch it out a little bit. Okay, wait, no, we need one more control point here. This definitely turns into a more, like, really almost like a puzzle. Trying to figure out where you need vector points, or control points for your vectors and all that. I wonder if I can even connect that. Okay. Yeah, that's, oop, nope. Like, simplifying is hit or miss, clearly. Okay, we'll get this little last bit from the center part, and then we'll be done here, I think. Yeah, see, that's too simple. That one's already in a pretty good way. Yeah, that cleaned a lot of that up. Okay, good. Oops. It just wants to get rid of that little loop at the end, doesn't it? Ah, fine. Redraw vector line. There's only like one control point in it. No, now there's definitely more. That's fine. That one in a little bit. If I can't connect them like that, and then pinch it in. It's still trying to leave the one tail, but that's fine. We can just kind of pinch this in a little bit and clear out both tails here in a second. Oops, not all that though. Okay. Like it's pretty clear the areas that we've gone through and cleaned up now versus the areas that we haven't, I would say. That's interesting. Okay. Let's see. At risk of overthinking this, let's... Okay, I actually do really like the kind of clean style, even if this design still has too much detail. Like compared to the actual like Pokemon designs, there's way too much going on here. For example, I should probably just toss this line entirely. Now that's not to say that Pokemon designs are simple, but A, the guidebook I have is mostly starters, and B, even so, like there's too many layers within layers on this one for it to work well as like a first evolution Pokemon. So I don't think we want to keep the hyper complex design here. Okay. I don't want the whole stream to be just me nitpicking at these lines, but I kind of also do. I think, okay, how about this? We'll go until 9 o'clock on these lines, and then we'll stop where we're at, and we'll finish up the coloring and shading and everything, and we'll be done with this one this stream. That sound good to y'all? Okay. I'm going to assume that's a yes. Obviously, you don't have to say a word. We don't require participation. But yeah, I think that's basically going to be the gist of the rest of the stream here is next 30 minutes or so, we'll be doing some cleaning up line work, and then we'll go through and actually do the colors properly, which should be really easy with clean lines. I wonder what happens if I simplified this. Good, that's what I wanted it to do. Shift our size there a little bit. I would tell you the hotkey for like adjusting like brush width and such, but I have changed it to 1 because I don't remember what the original was, but I kept accidentally hitting it even more than anything y'all have seen so far, and so every time I tried to do anything, I'd set my brush like that, and this is not helpful. So, but I will say there's a way to set it up. You just hold down 1 key and then you just drag with your mouse and you can set the size, and that's standard across a lot of programs. Even Blender has that option, although in Blender the hotkey is F, which is weird. But yeah, you can adjust all of that. It's yeah, there's like shortcuts. Oh, well, let me scoot something out of the way real quick so you can actually see what the heck I'm doing. This one. There we go. And also this one. So if you go up to like edit at the top, I know you can't see edit, but you can see where it drops down. Actually, it's under file, isn't it? We've got preferences, but more importantly, you've got shortcut and modifier keys. Modifier keys are basically just a key you can hold down to make everything, like all the other options, do something different from usual. So if normally doing this would actually draw, but if I hold shift, then it does the size change. So shift is the modifier. Pretty handy, actually really handy, very awesome, super customizable options on this program. I have been enjoying Clip Studio quite a lot, I will say. Whoops. Getting my reference image over there on the other side of the stream a little bit. My bad. Let's see. Good. Then I will be back in like 2 minutes, and we will finish up this line work. See y'all in just a second. And we are back. Sorry about the pause there. Back in action. Okay, we've got 27 minutes. We're going to wrap up all the rest of these lines with all this tweaking and brand new tools. So let's see how quick we can pick this up. Try simplifying this one. Nope, mistake. Okay, let's first off try connecting these, and then a gentle redraw, I think. The connection, I guess the connection doesn't work if they're two ends of the same line, maybe? Or it's just a little finicky. One of the two. Looking at the original here, this really should be more of a, like this. Let's see. This one kind of comes down like this. Grab the middle of this a little bit. There we go. That kind of better captures the fact that it kind of curves off to one side a little bit, or at least seems to. This looks like one where we need to connect the lines. Yeah, that's much better. And then maybe also simplify a little bit too. Clean up some of the gunk there. Oop, overly simple. Okay, so I think I'm starting to see where simplify is useful and where it's maybe not. It's definitely, if a line is too close to straight and you don't want it to be like more straight, then simplify isn't going to help. Inch is actually getting a lot of good mileage. So I'm probably gonna have to do some re-simplifying after it. I can probably do like a quick, real quick, whoop, nope. Wow, that's the wrong line entirely. Now, I was hoping to do some like easy cleanup there, but maybe not. We'll do the eraser to get rid of some of that. Oops, yep, that wasn't. Don't know why I thought that would work. Okay, now let's just pinch this one down, actually. Whole thing down more in alignment. All of these edges down, we'll fix that in a second. It really does sort of reach like a center point here. I want to simplify that, and then I kind of like having this flare out a little more. Got a little more simplification to do, but nothing crazy. Okay. Connecting the vector lines here. Yeah, actually having a go at doing this faster has definitely been a good idea. Because otherwise I'm going to get way too caught up in details. At this rate, I may speak too soon, but at this rate we might be done well before 9. Both of these are kind of wrong. That's not completely wrong, it's just mostly wrong. Oh heavens, what are these are weird lines. Okay, clean up all that rubble. I'm just going to call it rubble. Like the remnants of something else. We can just pinch and adjust. Yeah, this is a whole different like game from some of the other art stuff. Let's add a control point there and a control point there. And we can sort of soften this a little bit. There we go. If this were a figurine, that would be like the little tiny thing that was stuck to the stand. But you still have to have like a clear plastic rod to hold the rest of it up. So I guess not the best place for it. Okay. Can I get away with simplifying this? No. Okay. Yeah, the tail's looking a heck of a lot better now. I can do a tiny little cleanup. Ah, no. Eraser. If I pinch it over a hair and then do that. Oh. Yeah, that's actually perfect. No. Eraser. Eraser. There we go. Better, better, better. Okay. And that really... This one up just a hair, and then I can get rid of that loose end. Oops. I guess I get back to my vectogram. Oh, this width, I adjusted the width on this a little bit. This is actually nicer for seeing all of the tools and not taking up so much space. Maybe we leave it like that. But yeah, pinch vector line. Don't get too hung up on pinching said vector lines. Let's deal with the face. It was always going to be the hard part. They always find a way to be. Like a little erase with this line here. Maybe a smaller erase. Nope. The erase tool does not let you use the same hotkey, or at least I haven't set it up right to use the same hotkey. So I can't just adjust the size of the eraser easily. I have to go through my little circle settings here. I guess that one's just part of that line. Nope, wrong tool. That is the challenge of learning all these new tools. Is it's real easy to use the wrong one. I actually kind of like the chin that gives. Okay, we'll leave that. Clean up loose end there, clean up loose end there. I think that's a connect them, clean that up, connect this mess. There we go, much better. So the way these work is what I'm connecting aren't the black lines, they're sort of the red lines that we see when we can click one. You can see all the red dots and red lines in there. Let me move this over a little so we've got a better view. I can just hold down control and click on a vector line when I'm in this tool and see these. So it's like, it's the little red lines in between. And if I've got like two of these next to each other that are separate, I can use connect vector lines on them, and it puts them together, and it helps get rid of some of the weird flack that comes off at the edges. Like we still got a little weird edge there, but it's unfortunately sort of tethered to these. Let me see if I can. Okay, we'll have to simplify, I think is going to be the solution for that one. Get rid of the extra points that are causing that. And so now you can see these two lines are one line with two extra vector points. Ah, okay. There, maybe I just need to rearrange the vector points. There we go. They were kind of looped over each other. Don't want a loop-de-loop. Guys, you can get nonsense. Okay, and so basically the black lines are just generating along those red lines. So if we connect those, then it helps get rid of the tails on the black lines, but it can also cause some other weirdness. Let's see if we can connect this. There we go. And then I think we're going to want to simplify that. Maybe not that one, though. One's already pretty simple. I don't think connecting those is going to do much good. Yeah, that was such a mess anyway. We'll just clear that whole thing out. We'll have to redraw that line, but that's fine. Oh. Ah, okay, so I can see there's a line in here that just entirely doesn't need to be there, so we can just remove that. And now, when I grab a line, good, that actually makes sense to be the line that I'm grabbing. Yeah, let's simplify that one and see if we can smooth out some of its warble a little. Yeah, that's better. Oop, don't want to smooth that part though. Actually, kind of want to keep the curve. Okay, so smoothing some parts of the line, like just this center bit, was really good to get a smooth curve here. But then these parts, I kind of like having the detail for the softer curve that way. I can, with my little eraser, get rid of where that's overlapping. Whereas this is probably a little too simple already. Maybe we just want to redraw this line. Oop, not this one. Not that one. Get out of the way. And now when we've redrawn it, it's just a ton of points because it picked up every little tiny mistake I made with my hand. I don't have much in the way of pen stabilization on. I wonder if I can simplify like a little less powerfully. Okay, yeah. Just this part. Actually, yeah, just that part. And then just that. Okay. So now I bet if we look at it, yeah, it's not deleting quite as many of the dots as it was before. Interesting. Oh, we could delete short lines? I feel like that's going to cause bigger issues later. Let's go back to our main tool. Oh, right, we need to bring this back down. How are we doing on time? 43. Okay, we're making decent time. I think we'll be out of here pretty quick. Trying to just move the rest of this line sort of out of the way, but it doesn't, like they don't want you to move their endpoint unless I'm like really manually moving it. So now if I were to, ooh, that's an off key note. Just bring this here and get rid of all the excess. There we go, getting rid of the tail there a little bit. Not perfect, but it's a heck of a lot better. Okay, this one I think is just entirely redundant, so I'm just gonna click it and delete it. Oh, that's the tail of that one, huh? Let's just erase this section of it. Okay, we're starting to get somewhere with this. Oh, I had to connect those before I simplify them. You can sort of see where there's a seam on this one. Let's get that together. And then the simplify can, well, it didn't actually make the curve better. Manually adjust. There we go. And then this rocky part, I'm going to have to come back to later because it's actually kind of supposed to be jagged. Those are connected. I'm just going to... This was actually supposed to sort of come out to a point, wasn't it? Like that. Let me just simplify this edge of it. There we go. Okay. I think we're going to want to do like a little connect on the nose, connect down here. Whoop, that didn't connect to the thing I thought it would. Can I just toss that line? Yes, I can. There, that's better. Clean that up a little bit. Just simplify on that. Yeah. Okay. So we're starting to get the hang of these. So these are interesting. So this, I can literally just add control points to a line, like boop. So now there's more ways it can curve. Simplify, I can basically remove control points from a line if there's too many and it's causing it to wobble a lot because it's trying to curve at every single point. So now this one controls this whole section, basically. Connecting is if I've got two of them, I just went and dragged and dropped that. But connecting is if you've got two near each other that are sort of like overlapping at an end and you want them to be one continuous line, you can use that, which is actually pretty nice. And then adjusting line width we used at the start, I can make them skinnier, but I don't want to go any skinnier than we've done. We're already at like, what, 3 point? Which is pretty darn fine point. And then redrawing basically lets me just pick the line and have another go at it. It's like a take two. Let's see, Pokemon tends to like connected lines in its line work, so I'll have to clean up anywhere it's not quite connecting. This is an interesting... Oh, this actually should be connecting. Just actually grab the whole line and bring it over. Ooh, okay. Maybe we do want redraw. Oh goodness. We can probably simplify these. Yeah, see, that's better. Oh, oops. Accidentally held control and picked the whole line up. Control and then clicking on it, by the way, is how I'm showing this. Oops, see, I don't want to simplify that too much. I kind of like the curvature of that as it is. See that? No, I need to re-add at least one control point here and get the curve back. I wonder if simplifying this will make it rounder, or it's probably going to make it really boxy. Yep. Well, kind of a mix. Because having too many control points can add corners, but having too few can just add straight lines in between. So let's see if we can't just move them manually. Okay, that's not bad. Then I can get rid of this loose end over here. Okay. Then let's see if we can connect to get rid of that, or if I'm going to have to just toss the overlap. There we go. Okay, 13 minutes. Let's keep at it. This is really fascinating, like, workflow for art that I've never considered anything like this before. Maybe even I can make this big. Maybe I can bring all 3 of these down a little bit. Give a little more character to this nose. And make it small and just grab the end of this one so it connects. Ah, no. Okay. Simplify those. Or do I need to like connect them? Or trying to get rid of, there we go. Getting rid of some of the excess there. There we go, nice and smooth curve. Smooth curve. Okay, let's deal with the eye, because there's a lot going on here. Step 1 is let's simplify this outer one, and maybe even just toss that piece, because I don't think it was contributing much. Let's go back to our tool. Simplify that. Simplify this top edge there. Oop, wonder if simplifying this, I think maybe we need to connect the lines and see what that does. Because there's just a lot of sort of messy lines in here. Really wants to connect them to that edge. Maybe if I connect that, that'll clean that up. If I connect that, that'll... Interesting, the connect detection. It's trying to get to nearby lines. Well, that's not bad, actually, although it's not going to work great with color. I need to redraw this one a little bit. Okay, yeah, it's got kind of weird overlap that's causing issues there. We'll just do a fresh draw for that line, I think. This one, I'm guessing... okay. Maybe if we just simplify the heck out of the whole mess. Maybe not do the whole thing, but let's actually simplify the inner part here, though. There we go. I'm going to put 2 control points, because what I want is for this to go in and out a little bit based on actually the other way. Or like that based on the original. Then I should be able to just pinch this line and move it in a little bit. Maybe I'll need to sort of curve it in a little. Well, okay, we'll leave that one as is. We'll do the fresh line. Get rid of that little dot. And now for the mouth. Oh boy. A lot of connecting lines on here because I just sort of scratched this in badly. Got fed up trying to redo the expression. Let's simplify it too. See what that does. Yeah, that didn't solve the boxiness problem. It actually made this one worse, but that's okay. Let's think about where we actually need the ends of the mouth to be. Or a point there and a point forward. And then this one, you can sort of see on the curve in, and then this is kind of down. Should sort of match the chin here a little bit. Oh, nope. There we go. I sort of want the chin to follow it a little bit. Are these 2 separate lines here? Oh. Yeah, that should be one continuous thing for sure. Okay, that's why the movement wasn't affecting all of the parts quite the way I expected. Okay, there we go. That should help with the sort of determined look. I don't think I'm going to go for sort of the gap here necessarily. Almost makes him look like Popeye with a really big lower lip, which is kind of funny, but doesn't fit the Pokemon thing we're doing. Okay. Then I'm going to fix these lines, I'm going to redo the eye lines, and I think that'll be it. And this, I don't think is going to be terrible. Connecting that should make that easy. Connecting those should need to get rid of the inner one that's redundant. There we go, just get rid of redundant lines. Boom, much better. Connect that there. Pinch this line, bring it up a little. Enough that it overlaps. Get rid of this piece here. Like a little stray bit. Whoops. Okay, never mind. It's an important stray bit. Just realized looking at the image a little closer, it actually kind of looks like it's like a big draping sleeve almost, and that's actually a way cooler look anyway. So let's actually break the actual pen. Let's put down some new lines. Crazy how that is. I think we're actually at like 3 right now, right? Yeah, that looks right. It also looks like we're on the wrong color. So let me grab this. Yeah. Okay. Looking at this, what I'm seeing now is more of like a sleeve that then comes out into this part. And then, okay, so wait. So then this is actually like the bottom fold of it. And then this is kind of like like this. Got kind of one line up. One line down. It should be more of like that. Gives a little texture. We'll get more texture from the shading. Okay. Because it looks like, I don't know if you can see on this one, it looks like there's like actual proper like sleeve creases and stuff for it to be doing like that, which I think is more interesting. Okay. Then up here in the eye. Kind of like this going. And trying to capture what is the part of that that I'm seeing that makes it not look, well, it does kind of look happy the more I focus on the big image. Maybe if I make it small, I'm going to make my reference image small for me and see if I can see what is striking me as, oops. Maybe we just zoom in a little, or zoom out a little bit. Let's see. It looks stern because the top of the eye is pointed down and the main part of the eye is just doing this, but with a curve forward. There we go. That's kind of the stern look. Or at least determined. Also, the mouth isn't quite as big as I've gone and made it. Liquify is an interesting tool for another day. Not touching that today. Although we're doing some similar-ish stuff with it. There we go. We'll give him more of a cool guy smile. Okay. Let's okay, let's see. One more line on this. That's probably going to turn into a shadow thing later rather than a proper line. And then we need to fix the head bit here because this just isn't working. We got 5 minutes for it. We can do that in 5 minutes, I think. Oh, let's make my reference a little more visible again. Hopefully y'all can see it now better as well. For an AI-generated drawing, I'm actually really happy how this one came out. Usually they're much more broad. This one's got a lot of like actually interesting specifics going on in it. Okay, let's look at this line not relative to the drawing, but like relative to full stop, because it's really almost vertical in reality. Then it kind of curves down towards the eye. We'll smooth these out with the vector tools. Get kind of like a ridge that goes up. This kind of comes down along. Oh, even like it kind of merges with this even. And drawing, like just thinking asymptotes, where they almost but don't quite merge, and that's not what I want. We need them to actually merge. Oops. I would like my actual pen back now, please. That's going to sort of curve down like that. This kind of continues around the back of it. This doesn't need to go here, and in fact, got a more gentle curve on that too. It kind of looks like there's even something like that going on. Beginning to think when I was first drawing this, I should have actually zoomed in on the ref once in a while. We don't want too much detail because we're just trying to go for like a sort of simple, basic-ish Pokemon. Okay, but that is looking so much better than it was earlier. I think that's probably good with the time we have. The head part's like a little tall, but I don't want to mess with it at this point. I think, you know, we'll take a little bit of flexibility with it. Okay, now just for reference, let's see how much is moved, because these colors were originally lined up with the lines exactly. So we've changed quite a bit about the outline. Wow, yeah. Just looking, pretty much nothing actually lines up with where it was, which I'm 100% down for, because the old way was looking real rough around the edges. So let's toss this old colors layer, and let's make a new colors layer. Colors new. we're just going to go fill bucket crazy again, because I think that's the most efficient way to sort of sort this out initially. So, starting from, let's start with the dark this time, because it's sort of in all of this, around the eye too, around the mouth, under this cloak. Fills in most of this area, although it kind of blends into the green here, so we'll have to work on that. And it does come like underneath this a little bit, which is awkward because like not really something we can necessarily draw super well. So we may have to imply something else with that a little bit. Don't think that's going to work well on the eye. No, the eye is just going to need to be its own kind of purple color, I think, which I'm okay with. Even the original Snivy's got like a unique color for its eye compared to everything else. And given that this is based on Snivy, I think we can follow that precedent. Dark green, dark green, dark green. There's never as much of this in the drawing. Like in my head, this is like all dark green. And there's like, yeah, there's some, but there's not as much as I think there is. Green, light green, blue. Yeah, and then gold, because there's gold all over the place. And don't worry, I'm not destroying my line work when I do this. There is a plan. Namely, that I can just move this layer behind the line work, and it'll work. But right now it's on the top. Get the eye detail there. Get the other side of the mouth. Get this sort of piece. Let's go with now this is where it starts to get down to we actually need to do some interpretations and stuff. I'm going to go with the sleeve being gold. And with the implication that, well, I don't want to imply this is another arm. Still like the idea that it's like part of a tabard in the middle and that this is missing an arm, but it would still match the arm color there. So cool. That works out. Okay. Then let's actually try to get something of a like decent violet purple in here for the eye. Something not too bright. Because we've got to sort of average the colors in there a little bit, because I only want to do one color for this if I can. Is that going to be too bold? I mean, it's kind of leaning a little too much towards the darker one even. Let's go like a little lighter. Do that. Okay. Now we've got our, obviously this vector fill is like a little rough around the edges still. It's real pixely because of the size and some other things. Let's pop that behind the actual line work now. And we're getting something that's looking a little closer to right, although it's still surprisingly pixelated in some places. I thought that would be a little smoother with the line work on top of it. Are the lines too narrow to cover it? But we could try, there was that one tool. It's one more of the vector tools. I know we said we wouldn't use any more of them after 9, but we'll do a quick, maybe adjust line width. And we're going to change the settings, so instead of narrow, it's going to thicken it by, I don't know, do 2. All the lines are thickened by 2. Well, that does look, well, it covers up the gaps. Let's maybe just do it by 1, because I still want the thin line work that you sort of see with Pokemon. That still looks really pixelated. I honestly don't know what will happen if we do it by 1.5, so let's see what that does. I don't know how you thicken something by half a line, but it seems to have done that, and it looks okay. So, yeah, maybe it would have been better to... Okay, so then thinking about shadows a little bit, we'll do just a quick little, like, Pokemon looks like it just does a gray shadow over the things that are in there. That's fine. That's actually easier. So we'll just do what we've done before with some of these past layers. We're going to turn this from a normal layer to a multiply, and we're going to flip it actually onto our color layer. I'm going to use this button, and so now this, instead of seeing like the whole page as its canvas, is going to see this colors page as its canvas is only the stuff that has color here. So the actual like colors window Whoops, I should have done that purple one on a different layer. Oh well. So I can't draw, if I'm drawing like a line on this multiply layer, it's never going to go off of the, like out of the line. It always stays within the lines. Not that I want to do a big old scribble over the whole thing. What I am going to do is just like a moderate grayscale tone. Get myself a decent sized, not the felt pen. And I usually just use the selector for this. I do want to kind of try. How's that? No. How did I move the whole? Okay, I guess. Okay, if I hold down Control and just drag, I can move the layer by accident. Cool. The issue with having it like as a pen stroke is I can do as much as I want and it'll stay even until I release, but now it's going to add another layer on top of it. So if I'm just trying to do lines across, you get this really scratchy, sort of like you do with like actual markers. Cool to simulate, not what we're going for. So I'm going to use my magic selecty pen, select an area, and then just fill it. And it fills it once, and we're done. That said, I'm not going to make it quite that dark, I don't think. Let's sort of do less fill. That's better. Okay, so then looking both at the ref and trying to think about how an actual Pokemon will be shaded, because they tend to do fairly straightforward, fairly round, simple shading, nothing insane on it. So the tail is like the easiest place to shade, in my opinion, because we've sort of got. Oops, no, not that. I actually want to adjust the size of my brush here a little. How to enable the shift to adjust brush size for this tool too. We got that in shadow. I think pretty much all of the blue is going to be in shadow, like this sort of darkish purple indigo blue. Just do a simple curve for this one, not unlike the original ref. The original ref, of course, doesn't really have a consistent light source because it's just AI generated from different images that may have had different light sources. So we're going to have to get a little creative with this. But I kind of like the idea that there's a light slightly back and to the left of it. Like, or downward. Oh. So the problem with this image, with our actual reference, is the lower half of it looks like the shadows are being cast over the right. Like if you look in the yellow, the shadow is on the right, the light is on the left. Same for this. The top part, that's inverted. The light is on the left for the shoulder pad. Like the headpiece, the light is on the outside, and the shadow is on the underside. So we need to figure out where the actual light and shadow are. Personally, I think looking at the overall image, it actually makes more sense for the light source to be in the direction it's going, running towards the light, towards the action. It also means like that the hood and stuff will have better shading over the head, which is where it's really important. And yeah, but what that means is that I need to undo some of the stuff I've just done here. So let's start over. There we go. I do still think that this part's shadow is going to make a certain amount of sense because it's being blocked by other pieces. We'll keep that shaded. But I think this one, it's actually going to be like something like that. Same for this one, like around the curve. This whole bit's going to be in shadow. There's going to be a shadow along the edge here. And let's see. Yeah, they do sometimes have shadows splitting and stuff. Like, got like an old How to Draw Pokemon book I found from way back when, just sitting on my desk next to me. So that's sort of what I've been using as my shadowing reference here. Okay, and then I want like a smaller tool because I don't want to get crazy detailed in here, but it makes sense for this to have like a gap in it, and I know that Pokemon's done stuff like that before. Because this way it looks like this is like, I don't know, fabric or a sleeve or something that is folded, which is closer to what we're looking for. Add a little depth to it. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. Light on the front, shadow on the back. This side is kind of like oblique to it, it looks like. And this almost looks like it's got a glow to it in its own right. But what this means is basically, I'm going to need a bigger tool. This seems to be casting a shadow underneath everything, so it's just going to be fully shadowed. As is the blue around it. we go. Oh yeah, I want to make sure that the blue in this section is like properly in shadow too. If that's like an 8, yeah. Oh, there we go. See, this is something, if we just used the other tool where we were just using the pen, we couldn't do this because any overlap we did would make these shadows even darker, and so it'd be really hard to be precise with it. It looks like there's like a little up shadow here. As though it's sort of like set inside this. Let's go to a 12 at least for getting this. This should all definitely be in shadow. Sort of underneath the green. Shadow. Almost just gonna keep like building this out section by section. Everything inside of what looks like, this feels like a cloak in my mind. Like I feel like from the other side, this Pokemon, you wouldn't even see their face, which would not be something the actual Pokemon game would probably do. Bad for putting it in different scenarios if you can't even see its face from half the angles. Wouldn't be a very exciting thing to witness. Although, I mean, Mimikyu, you'd like never technically see its face. Maybe they'd do it. Sort of fill in here. Leaf shadows should really only be like the underside. Can actually stick fairly true to the original reference for how I'm doing that. This, shadow from the face, I guess. I'm not going to mess with more than that. Maybe you'd have shadows from this piece cast on it. Maybe you'd have shadows from the cloak cast on it. I'm going to assume it's real reflective and just picks up light from wherever. So we know that's got shadow. This is going to have sort of like a curved shadow on it. There's like kind of a big, broad curved shadow on this part too. To fill in with a larger brush. Maybe that was a little too large. That's fine. I just need to use my wonderful little erase selection to clear out the area I've accidentally selected here. That's fine. Okay. Getting a little more depth on that now. Shading stuff is certainly going a bit faster these days. A little bit of practice goes a long way on that. Also not having the complexity of the massive hair we had on some of those other ones. Fun as it was to do. Okay. Almost like even want to bring this in, like bring this out like a little more. Oh, I made that worse. Okay, let's just get rid of that bump. That's sort of in. This should all be in shadow behind the head. Pretty much everything in this area is going to be in shadow. Some of it might need to be even like quote unquote double shadow because it's not only shaded by the kind of hood piece here, but it's also shaded by like other pieces around it. So I may add like a second multiply layer and just do a very few like little key touch-up points. Let's see. Smaller brush for some of these like odds and ends and corners. Let's see. And this actually is sort of how we can get some of the eye detailing in here too, like with shadow instead of like outright. Gets in there. So, how are y'all doing? I'm just, obviously I'm just plugging along doing this. I think we're just going to be doing some similar such. If anyone's got any stories they want to share, they're welcome to. If you don't, obviously you don't gotta say anything. It ain't homework. But let's see. I've been enjoying the music. Like I was worried that this playlist, I thought this playlist would never ever work for copyright reasons, but apparently the lo-fi is like a sufficient remix for it that it's cool with it, which makes me happy. Because it means I get to listen to some fun music. I tried one playlist that like, oh man, I was like, okay, just to make sure that we don't run into any copyright stuff with this playlist that I'm using now, let's try this other one that's labeled specifically like Twitch lo-fi friendly music, like no copyright or anything, and I got 2 copyright strikes, and the music wasn't even that good. I was like, well, thankfully I don't have to put up with that mediocre music. Sharpen this a little bit. Kind of makes it look like he's got a mustache. A little silly. All right, erase. Ah, nope. Oh boy. You don't want to accidentally hit like cut image. This tool, because it'll cut everything you don't select. A little risky. Okay, how we looking? I feel like we ought to have like a little. It just looks like it's twisted now. Not really what we want. Maybe just go up like more. There we go. Okay. There we go. That's I may do like a little tweak here, and I may do a little bit of that double dark shading I mentioned. But I think we'll have this done by like 9:20. Awesome. Let's put a timer on actually. 5 minutes. If I go too long, call me out. We're going to have this completed in 5 minutes. Makes more sense to have the shadow continue here. It makes more sense for this to be almost entirely in shadow except for the edge, and it fits the original a little better too. There we go. Adds a little actual depth and curvature to these. Not too much. There we go. That looks like it could be, I don't know, the top half of an angry Pokemon. Okay, double shadow layer. New layer, flip to the layer below it, put it here. It's going to be multiply as well. Same shading, and there were just like 2 places I think. I'm trying to remember where I was thinking like this needs extra shadow. I think one of them was in here. This piece in particular. Ah, there we go. The other, oh right, the others were inside the hood here. So like the sort of deeper section down here and in here. Sort of behind this yellow piece. Yeah, I'm just doing a quick and dirty shading too. I'm not doing like different shading for each color layer. I don't think that's going to be helpful. We'll just be kind of sloppy with how we're getting it in here. That's fine. Clean that up a little bit. We'll make sure we get the hole like underneath this. And we'll make sure we get like kind of this whole section too. Or it's at different angles may catch the light differently, so I'm just going to fill in here. Okie dokie. Let's see. Sort of enjoying the calm music for a moment. That reminds me a little bit, not the song specifically, but just kind of the like low-key chill. I started watching a new show recently. Kind of an interesting one. What the heck was it called? Oh, yeah, friend recommended it to me. It's called Restaurant to Another World, I think. Something like that. From Another World. Alternate Universe Restaurant. It's not that one. Something like that. Good little show. Not sure I'd, just recommend it outright. There's not, like, a lot that happens in it. But as far as just, like, low-key, like, kind of calm moments, it's nice. Let's see. fact, this may even like be worth continuing like this a little bit, make it look like there's a flap. Bigger brush to fill. We got 2 minutes left. But yeah, it's a cute little show. Definitely makes you hungry though. Gotta make kind of the darkish blue parts consistent now though. Let's see. That in. Hope I didn't. Okay. Clean some of that up. A little of that up. Okay. For a quick doodle, this did take like 2 days, but compared to where we left off yesterday, I'm actually much, much happier with how this is looking. So, I gotta say, not a terrible. Guess if you, I don't know. Can you like take, oh, what is it, metal coat? If you give Snivy a metal coat, maybe this is what you get. Oh man, it almost looks like, not Excelsior. Excelgor? Ah, there's another, I've got to look it up now. There's another Pokemon. Come on, new window. Oh, hello. Pokemon Excelgor. It is Excelgor. Yeah, this guy. Although it kind of looks more like the other one, doesn't it? Like this one's got a pair and like you trade them and they evolve each other with stuff. Escavalier, that's the one. Kind of more of this vibe. Got the armor set. So many ads. Anyway, yeah, kind of enjoying how that one turned out. Let me see if I can't take just a second and grab another reference image so we can do another one. I mean, we could do the other Snivy in this reference image, but I feel like we've done an awful lot of like Snivy Superior line today, even though this one's really fun and a very different vibe. I think maybe we hold off on that one a little bit. But let me go dig out the photos from the app and see if I can send a few my way. And it is a cool little app. It's on wombo.art. Again, I have no idea if they're like a good site or not or anything like that, but their app called Dream is free. It's as far as the AI generators go, it's pretty quick and you can do a lot of neat stuff with it. So I'm happy. Let me grab 2. This one will force some creativity. This one too, actually. Okay. I'm going to grab 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. They're all other starters. I'm going to have to mail them to myself. Such is the way of things. Which means it'll probably be a tad slow. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Name.name.name.name.name.name. Email addresses. Ugh. Okay. Call it Pokemon. Body text of the email, Pokemon. Include the 3 images. Send those. Please don't take a week to send. That is my one request. Are they in my... Well, my email app froze. That's a good sign, right? Good sign? Oh dear. Perhaps that's not a good sign. Oh good, it literally crashed the email app. I've never had that happen before. On an iPhone, has anyone else just had the mail app just freeze and crash? Like I restarted the app and it hadn't sent the email. It was like I'd reverted to a save point. That's not how email's supposed to work. What? Okay, well, I'm going to turn off the view for just a half a second because I don't want to accidentally dox my own email address. One of those things. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I've got the mail pulled up on another screen, so at least it won't show on stream. It's not looking like it's arrived yet. The curse of photos. Maybe I should have just sent one. The question is, will I make it worse if I send another email that's just one? I'm gonna hedge my bets that the answer is no. And I'm gonna send, let's see. Okay. Charmander is a wild one. The result for that one was wild. Mudkip is a lot of fun, but by far the most bizarre looking one I've developed is Oshawott. Let's see, which of these do we want to do? Miss Magius was cool too. Murkrow was stinking ominous. I don't think I could do that one justice. Mewtwo, I may just have to share the Mewtwo one if I can like figure out how to send it later. It looks like some H.R. Geiger nightmare. Wild what it does. Let's see if I can, unless anyone has in chat has a preference. I wonder if I can set up a poll. That would be interesting. I don't have the first idea how I would do that. Not under my stream info, not under my Twitch stats, although very useful to know that I'm live, thank you. I'll rat it off. Okay, that's fine. There's a reset button on the Twitch stats, it's like a reset in an odometer, and I absolutely accidentally click it every time I open that window. Let's see. Activity feed? Okay, what the heck is this? You have no stream activity. I beg to differ. Apologies, I know that we've been doing this for over a month now, but there's still some odds and ends that we haven't figured out yet. Media request. I feel like I shouldn't enable that yet. Maybe we'll have some special stream where we test that feature out. Widget data. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, nope. You gotta tell me if you're gonna open a new. Anyway, y'all got to see for a half a second that I'm taking some Blender tutorials on YouTube. Exciting stuff, I know. Okay, rather than spending a whole week trying to figure this out, email arrived? No. No. My junk? Nope. My inbox? That's where it should be. Okay. New attempt. We're sending just one. I think in lieu of a poll, feel free to huck a message in chat if you have an opinion. Otherwise, in like 1 minute, I'm going to try to just send over the one that I think is going to get us the craziest thing. But genuinely, so we've got Altaria, we've got Murkrow, we've got Miss Magius, Breloom, Mudkip, Oshawott, Charmander. I'm not gonna do Wooper because it looks like just a series of steampunk airships. I chose a poor filter for that one. If there's any that sound interesting, like by all means. I'm not doing Among Us either. Let's see. Oh, Rapidash was kind of neat. Espeon was interesting. Porygon is ominous. And of course, Mewtwo is... I don't think I could draw Mewtwo any better than it already has. Well, maybe. That'd actually be... This would be an interesting one for a 3D modeling project. Okay, so not Mewtwo. Let's limit... Okay. So we've got Altaria, Murkrow, Mismagius, Breloom, Mudkip, Oshawott, and Charmander. Any of those, feel free to throw in a preference. Otherwise, I'm just gonna, once the clock hits 9:29, I'm just gonna go ahead and send one. See. This is an interesting thing about Stream Elements, the tool that I'm using for streaming here inside of Twitch, is I see a whole bunch of users in here, but I have a sneaking suspicion some are bots, because when I actually look at the number of viewers on my stream, they don't match. So I don't know what these quote-unquote users are, or what is meant by that, because it's supposed to be the users in chat, but like, are they in chat? Again, I don't, you know, you don't have to participate. I don't want to peer pressure anyone into doing anything. Um, you know, this isn't supposed to be a homework assignment, but I am trying to figure out how many of the folks here are real. I won't just read out everyone's username, but I am curious who's actually, how many people are actually in chat right now. I'm gonna hazard a guess the number isn't not 10. Um, so who are these? And why do some of them just like a 0 followed by a series of characters? Suspicious of that being real. Well, anywho, it looks like the clock has ticked over, which means that I am going to be... Let's do Mudkip. Mudkip's always a good choice. Let's mail a Mudkip. Let's see. You'll know how hard it is for me to not read out the email as I type it. Like, I always do that. Like, I just, in my mind, or thinking out loud, I'm like, oh, name, do at blank dot blank. It is so hard to not do it. See. Send it from this. Just send it. Please actually send it. Okay. In the nice pop-up. I really wish it didn't do that. Have to blur that in the VOD. Nobody saw it, right? Nobody saw it. Okay. Note to self, fix Outlook notifications. Good news is we've got ourselves a Mudkip. And a lesson to not try to send more than one picture at a time, probably. Okay, so let's boot this one. Let's zoom out. This is this cool, oh, what the heck is it called? Pure Ref. It's called Pure Ref. Okay. Right click, images, add one, or do I just, canvas, window, mode, images. Guess I just have to drag and drop the images into it. Okay, give me a half a second to get this set up. I'll be right back. I really did mean right back that time. Quick turnaround on that. Okay, let's see. Sort of size that to fit. Here is what we got from Mudkip. And now you may see what I mean about a lot of these end up being kind of like esoteric and weird. We've got what looks like, I don't know, a Chow from Sonic or something, and then some sort of Zubat Mudkip hybrid thing. So, next 30 minutes, let's see if we can't capture the essence of that well enough. Let me just write down one thing. Okay. Then let's just, well, let's begin. Maybe with a, I'll just, oops, I don't know what I just layer locked, but that's probably fine. Create folder and insert these. Snivy, in the loosest possible sense of that being a Snivy. Okay. here's what we're looking at with Mudkip. I'm gonna add. I'm sure that the smart choice would be to. Oh, okay. First off, the smart choice is to not put that in the Snivy thing. Let's just call this background because I don't want to change the paper color because I'm feeling lazy. Let's kind of go with like this softish blue-gray background. Hey, that's actually pretty close. Maybe a hint more blue? That was too much more. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, now we've got something to work with. We got kind of a bold blue and a bold orange, which I don't think that's really what a Mudkip looks like. To be honest, I feel like this is slightly off. Ooh, that's a big pencil. And a little too indigo. Let's go with more of a blue. There. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so just sort of broad strokes. We've got kind of like really more of a face like that. Oh, I don't know why I thought that would work. Ah, that, however, will. That won't. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. Gotta go fast. Anyway, okay, we've got kind of like one ear that sort of connects in the middle of the head. I'll try to make this one like look a little more coherent. With the other one, I was sticking pretty close to the original because the original was fairly coherent. This one, I think we're gonna have to get creative. It looks like there's kind of a foot there and a foot there, and like a shoulder. This looks like a house cat with wings. I'm gonna assume that this is supposed to be another wing behind it, so I'm actually gonna make this orange, unless it's almost got like an axolotl looking thing going on with it. We could lean into that. I think I kind of would rather it be a wing though, so let's go with kind of like, well, no, let's go with the more interesting design, even if it's like a really weird kind of incoherent one. Whoops. Close that out, then clear out those. Okay. That's gonna give us like sort of two ears, and then like kind of this freeformy thing going up here. Let's give that a little more of a curve, a little more of a U curve. There we go. Kind of like tapers in like that, and they've kind of got another one that kind of fades to orange. And they all do this kind of U curve thing. Kind of getting like Absol vibes from like weird asymmetry on this. The face looks like it's sneering a little bit. The ears do kind of do. We'll obviously have to fix the ears a little bit. I'm just trying to get the main elements sort of defined here. I think this is going to be a wing. Hopefully. Which makes this a wild kind of thing going on here. Okay, no, it's more of like a that. Spreads out. Like when I first saw this, I was like, that's not a Mudkip, that's a Zubat. But it's not even a Zubat. It's just like some weird hodgepodge thing. I don't know how a wing would ever do something like this. Let's see. That's wings. Maybe that's like tails? It's got crazy tails, and it just sort of sits amongst them as they wrap around it. It's hard to even get an idea of depth on the image because it looks like it's hovering above a giant crater, which I don't think is quite what I'm going to go for on it. Let's see. Can y'all, for the record, can y'all see that? I've got sort of the reference image. Hey, I may zoom into it. There we go. Zoom into this reference a little more. And I'm going to move it on my view out of the way. And that way I can make sure that y'all actually see everything I'm doing and that I'm not working in like a weird corner of the screen like I apparently was. Okay. We got kind of a real rough in there. Let's do a little less rough of a rough now. And let's actually try to define how we want some of these things to it together. Because right now, it's kind of an incoherent blob. I do like the edge of the face being sort of like, I don't know, I can't tell if it's like cat-like or bunny-like. Really its own thing. All I know is it's got the sneer of a Winston Churchill, which is probably not the best choice for a Pokemon. Let's see. Clear some of that out. I do kind of want to go for ear symmetry, and then we'll just have these things be kind of their own things. So with that, the face is a little bit facing, to the extent that there's a face, facing like that, and then the expression sort of sneers back at us. So it's almost like there's like a, something like that. Yeah. I'm thinking about placement of items on the head. We're going to be like that, so we're going to have like one ear sort of centered here, and one more over here, methinks. And then, let's see. Crazy on this. We've only got 20 minutes left. This one will definitely pick up again on a Friday because it's the one. It's not the wildest design I got. That is still, without question, Oshawott, which is going to haunt me in my dreams, and which I hope to share with all of you at some point. But it is certainly a wild one. Okay, I feel like it's facing. Let's actually think about the direction of the face and try to make this a coherent design a little bit. Not gonna. Oops. Not going to be beholden to the reference quite so much here. Face is up, then the head is going to be similarly so. That's kind of doing that. Hairline is going to be something like that, which is less relevant for the critter, but more relevant for where we place its ears. One of them's gonna, the attach point's actually gonna be kind of visible on the head, and the other one's gonna be more behind the head. But it is still probably gonna be facing a little bit away from us. Oops. So let's try that one more time with these. Curve is still forward more than at us. Almost like gemstone flat ears placed atop it. Okay, that'll do for that, methinks. This is the sinking wild thing I'm looking at. And that face. Eye closed. Kind of a pink nose. And then this mouth. Such an angry looking critter. And not even like Charizard angry. Like, it looks like you just roused it from its morning nap. And it's out for vengeance. Like, what are you doing here? It does, however, no, that's just shading. It looks a little like it's got a collar. Maybe we'll lean into that a little bit. Not quite as big as the ref makes it look necessarily. And then this, we gotta find ourselves a good orange to match it. It's kind of like a reddier orange. That'll do. Oh man, the contrast is so bright. Can we tone it down a little bit? There we go, that's better. Okay, whoops. Nope, not Phil. I don't know what this song is, but it's giving me crazy carnival vibes. Okay. I feel like this is like one giant leg in a way that I'm not sure I'm okay with, but we'll see. like paws, sort of like folded, I think. That's what I'm going with. This is a weird one. This is a weird one. Maybe even lean more into the reddish orangeness of it. I'm definitely gonna have to break out the gradient tool for these thingamabobs. Looks like a bird of paradise flower more than something you'd actually see on an animal. Which, granted, not that weird for Pokemon to do something like that, so. Like, smaller one on this side. Give it kind of like an asymmetrical thing that it's got going on. And feels more like a tail thing. Or like it emerges from a cloak of some sort. I'm going to try to make it actually land on more of a consistent ground level. But not like that. There you go. Make it clear that it's like more like a cape or a cloak that it's sort of swathed in. I guess not really like Swadloon, but a little like Swadloon. The extent that anyone remembers heckin' Swadloon. I don't think that was many people's favorite Pokemon. I do remember that I found that gym extremely difficult, the bug gym in Unova that has a stinking Swadloon. Spoilers, I guess, for a game that's been out for a long time now. But like, I don't know, maybe it's because well, it was definitely because I was the grass starter, but I just had a rough time with Berg. Okay. I'm not super happy with like the body design. Um, and I'm not super thrilled with the fact that this looks a little too symmetrical to the one above it. So I want to make sure that these are actually like kind of clearly not equal. Also, the ears look like like bricks sitting on top of it, made of clay, which isn't quite what I'm going for. I kind of like the expression of just like that better, to be honest. If it's something like that, could be in a good mood, could be in a foul mood, hard to judge. Let's think about what else we can do with the silhouette of this, though. Instead of two arms crisscrossed, what if like, there's implied more body back there, and this isn't crisscrossed, but it's actually like sticking out forward. Get more of like a cat-like quadruped body where it's just implied that a lot of it is still under whatever this cloak thing is. And that's less horrifying than vaguely buff cat arms. Not big on vaguely buff cat arms, gonna be real with y'all. Not that that's out of line for Pokemon either. I mean, thinking some of their stuff is wild. You know, I wonder with Vector if you could just literally change the drawing tool. Like I could just change this to being pen lines. It would look bad, because it's not, the pressure and everything isn't designed for pen lines, but technically if it's just following the underlying vector line entity, it's super good. But nah. Okay, I just want to remind everyone at this phase, now that we're looking at it, The Pokemon this is Mudkip. Don't question it. The generator says it is so. So that it must be it must be true. This is a Mudkip. I got like a thing going on in there. Maybe should be symmetrical, but maybe shouldn't, because this design clearly like despises symmetry. Wants nothing to do with it. Kind of our cattier there. We've got kind of like another one of this. There we go. That does sort of imply once again that it's facing more to the right, which seems to be the general vibe that we're getting from this dude. I like the idea of that wrapping around it. The ears just being kind of like plopped on top of the head is wild. But in the world of Pokemon, anything goes. Okay, not anything. A surprising amount of things, though. Huh. Okay, and then maybe we simplify Loki mess. I like this weirdness of it though. Not this part. This part doesn't make enough sense in my brain. But like this, it's like bizarre. I cannot imagine how this thing would attack or defend or anything. I do think that I want to try to get more of this like flowing fabric-y thing that we've got going over here. Take some liberties from the original. And try to sort of continue whatever this like strong bridge piece is. That might give the design too much symmetry, but somehow I don't think that's a big risk with this design. Be something like this. Then we can sort of hang the other folds off of it. Not unlike what we did with the other side. As long as it's not too symmetrical. Oops. Cat in its little cove. Okay, I'm gonna keep tweaking this for the last 10 minutes, I think. See if we can't get this looking like I like the weirdness of this, but it genuinely just doesn't make sense. Maybe let's bring it down a notch. No, I wanted one of those lines. Nope. There we go. Oh, this down to being more like an actual cape. That puts a little more emphasis on the funky antennae things anyway. Then we'll chill on some of this nonsense too. Maybe we reveal a little more of the whatever it is. Like a cocoon. Give like another leg. Make it more cat-like. This looks like a cat with antennae and a blanket. We've leaned too far into the cat side. Where could we fix that? Part of the issue is that the antennae, whoop, man, I could have sworn this used to go the other way. We're doing this made it further, well, maybe not. Okay. Let's, okay. One thing. Oh, okay. Okay, where's this is the tool. Let's just move this down so we've got a little more headspace for it. Because these aren't really like prominent enough. Don't think. I think that's part of the issue here. I'm gonna make sure that they're sort of more connected to the design. They're not just like hanging off the side of it. And I want to make sure that they're getting the true like length and weird, unwieldy like tangliness that they deserve. Whoa, what is that? Nope, that's a ruler. No, not today. Let's really lean into this. This is like sort of a defining part of it. It's really bizarre. Could even make this sort of like more coming out of the side of it. I don't know that this is going to be an appealing Pokemon. I'll be honest, by the end of this, I'm not sure kids or anyone are going to want to run this one. But it'd be a good one for an antagonist to have. Could be the Zubat of its generation. Or probably more the Purloin. Always the cats. Cats and the bats. This is definitely another one where I think when we take a fresh look at it at the start tomorrow, we're going to have a better time figuring out, pardon my yawn, figuring out what we want to do with it. Because unfortunately it is getting a bit late, and I think my creative juices are drying up a little for the night. But I can get like some rough color fills going in here. Might help us visualize what this horrible thing we've created is. And I do say we. None of you stopped me. That makes you complicit. Like Spamton's ominous music behind me is suitable for this mess. Let's grab the blue. Yeah, it's kind of all or nothing with the color fills. Kind of got. Actually, it's kind of got like an orange tip on this ear, doesn't it? Not for this one, but that might be worth doing a little change there. And worth capturing the fact that the nose is orange too. Yeah. We'll get, whoops. Get back to the line work layer. Do a few minor tweaks here. Oh, that looks way too grouchy. Everything I do just makes it look more like an angry old man. We can sort of scratch in some colors there around the edge. This has got like different spots. Sort of see how we want to handle some of that. We could give it like orange patches. Might be too much though. Ah. No. What would this thing look like if it stood up though? Like, this is increasingly ominous the more I think about the mechanics of it. It goes like right up to the collar here. And then it's got like its cloaky thing. Or whatever nonsense it's doing. Thankfully we wouldn't see anything back there. A little more of an interesting cloak stuff to it, I guess. And still it's just Groucho face. face docs. There we go. Things. Would you add this to your party? I'm not 100% sure I would. Once again, reiterating that this is Mudkip. Famously one of the cutest Pokemon in existence. Very, very popular. Oh, what have we done to you, Mudkip? What have we done? Over like a vast barren expanse. I mean, I guess it could be worse. Could be doing just like... Actually, not sure this is worse. And it's just got like a Porygon foot. Then boom! Design done! Add some like highlights or something on it. Like... Pre-hatch. I didn't think this was going to turn into like a horrifying, like, grim stream like this, but this design actually legit kind of scares me. So, we're definitely going to be continuing it next time. There is no question of that. Because we have to see this through to its end. We have to see where this goes. Oh, there we go. I think this horrible mess is going to do it for tonight. We will be wrapping up just as soon as I finish filling in this mess. But it has been a blast having y'all here. I'll have to see how many people are actually showing versus how many are maybe bots. Lurkers are always welcome. Bots are not so much. Except for Stream Elements bot. That one's part of running the stream. It's definitely welcome. The rest of y'all, like, I'm not sure why you're here. I guess you're welcome to listen in, but if you're a robot, that doesn't mean anything to you. If you're not a robot, again, more than happy to have you here. Stay as long as you like. Say as much or as little as you please. But probably not too much more tonight because we are wrapping it up here. We've got our little Mudkip of horrors, and I think we're going to leave it at that. So, with this lovely expression to see y'all off for the night, I will say goodbye and see y'all next time. Have a good one.